Everybody. This is Paul calling from Mulberry Cottages. I hope you can hear me okay, first of all. If not, there is a chat and comment section on the right-hand side, so please just let us know if there are any issues. Also, we do have a lot of information to cover, so sadly you won't be able to see me, but most would say that's a good thing anyway. Anyway, as I said, my name is Paul Sutton. I'm a business development manager for Sussex at Mulberry Cottages. So if you have started with us in the last couple of years in the area, then you may have already met me and seen my face before, and in which case, hello. So today we're here to give you some advice and guidance on how you can ensure that you are more proactive in checking the safety of your property. In terms of protecting your guests by preventing incidents from happening and therefore preventing any compensation or legal claims. If you do have any questions, then again, that questions and comments box on the right hand side is the place to put them, and we'll do our best to answer those at the end, and if not, then we'll come back to you separately afterwards. With compensation claims increasing and with no limits on personal injury cases, it's really important to make sure that your property meets UK legislation and to ensure that your customers, as in guests, are safe. So we want to give some of that information to you today. I know it's it's an interesting topic and not necessarily the fluffiest of all in terms of what we offer for all our guests, but it is really important, and we're here to try and help you and give you some advice with this, and make sure that you're covered, which means that everybody stays healthy and happy. So it's the responsibility of every homeowner to ensure that they and their properties comply with health and safety and all other legislation. Just one. Make sure that you comply with health and safety and all other legislation related to the letting of self-catering accommodation. This applies even when you have employed someone, such as a caretaker or a housekeeper, to carry out services for you. Owners working with us commit to do this as part of their agreement. Even where specific legislation doesn't exist, owners have an overriding duty of care to customers, which means that a common sense approach to eradicating potential safety hazards, coupled with sensible risk assessments, should minimise the potential for unfortunate accidents. So we'll move on now to the audits. And to do this, we're now introducing a property safety schedule, which is a self-assessment completed by yourselves online annually and is returned directly to us. This document will then be the safety document that we keep on file. No health and safety visit will be carried out unless there's an incident or a customer complaint which involves health and safety. In which case, then we will probably pop down and and meet with you to have a chat and see what we can do to assist. So the document will include checklists on the following: gas, fire, electrical, swimming pools, hot tubs, private water supplies, jacuzzis and whirlpool baths, stairways, and general safety. Today I'll be touching on 5 of these, which are highlighted in red just there, and going through these sections and the risks and the questions you should be asking yourself if it applies to your property. As a side note, this list isn't exhaustive and there are many other things that you'll have to consider, but this information will be shared with you after the webinar too. So gas safety, always a big one, and I'm sure something that we've talked to you about and you've already looked at yourself if you do have gas in the property. Each year there are fatalities from carbon monoxide poisoning caused by poorly installed or badly maintained gas appliances and flues. There are also proven complaints from guests about the safety of gas appliances in their accommodation. Carbon monoxide is produced when a gas, oil or solid fuel boiler or wood-burning stove appliance is not burning correctly. It is therefore imperative that you get an annual inspection of all fuel-burning appliances in your home, which includes furnaces, water heaters, dryers, fireplaces, stoves, cars, barbecues, and blocked vents or chimneys. So there's a couple of interesting bits there. I mean, one is dryers, first of all. So that relates to gas heated dryers, which some of you may possibly have, although most are electrical now. And also barbecues. So again, it's something that I talk about quite a lot with owners. In actual fact, if you have a gas barbecue, then that will still need a gas safety certificate to make sure that that is working properly and is safe. As a bit of a fact, in the UK, carbon monoxide poisoning in the home accounts for an average of 50 recorded deaths a year and up to 4,000 medical visits. So it is definitely a key risk factor and something to make sure that is well managed. Owners do have a duty of care under the gas safety brackets installation and use regulation 1998 to ensure that gas appliances, fittings and chimneys and flues provided for guests are safe. So some things to watch out for are signs of corrosion or damage, which might be rust or green discoloration on pipework, yellow or orange flames, soot marks on gas appliances, and disconnected flues. So a few questions just to have a look at. First is there a gas supply of any kind in the property or supplied from any adjoining property? So even if you live in the house next door and your boiler feeds into your guest accommodation, it still needs a gas safety certificate. The certificate is for the boiler, the pipes and the appliances, so you can see that that filters down through directly into the property. The second one is, does the property have a current valid gas safety certificate? And gas appliances and flues must be checked annually by a qualified gas safe registered engineer. New regulations introduced in April 2018 allow a landlord to arrange for a gas safety check to be carried out any time from 10 to 12 calendar months after the previous check, while still preserving the original expiry date. So it works a bit like an MOT, I guess. And again, this includes gas barbecues. And is the certificate on display on the property? Sorry, that's another question added into the middle. This will need to be situated in a prominent position within the property. Just in terms of the certificate, and you'll need to keep copies of the record for at least 2 years prior. And then just question 3 on here, is there a gas, oil, solid fuel burner or solid fuel burning appliance in the property, such as working open fire, log burner or multi-fuel stove? And is there an adequately located working audible carbon monoxide detector? So if you do have any of these, then again, a working audible carbon monoxide detector must be fitted in a suitable location according to the manufacturer's instructions. So moving on to fire safety. The regulatory fire safety order requires an owner to complete a fire risk assessment every 12 months. So that must be done. And this involves the owner assessing any potential fire risks and ensuring preventative measures are taken to reduce the risk of fire. So fire prevention equipment would include such things as smoke detection, a fire blanket, fire extinguishers, emergency lighting, to make sure that furniture and soft furnishings comply with current fire regulations. All flues and chimneys should be swept annually. A fire guard should be provided for all open fires or wood burning stoves. and if there's an upstairs in the property, to have a look at exits as well. And if you do need a template for a fire risk assessment, then again, please ask the owners team here and we'll be able to send you a template for that. So again, a few questions just to ask yourself. First is, has a fire risk assessment been carried out in relation to the property in the last 12 months? It's necessary to complete a fire risk assessment of your property and record the findings and corrective action. This is a structured look at the fire hazards and the management of fire in the premises and must be reviewed annually. And the second, does the property have a fire detection system? As a minimum, one smoke detector on each floor. It's recommended that as a minimum, a connected system of smoke detectors are put in place, and these are radio interlinked detectors. These are all readily available. However, in some premises, it's likely that you may need an automatic fire detection system that runs from the main electricity with a battery backup, and that consists of interconnected detectors. In all cases, you should seek professional advice on which system best suits your premises, but we will always recommend a radio interlinked smoke detector rather than individual units. So for example, if there was a fire that started in the kitchen, but everyone's asleep upstairs in the bedrooms, then it will take some time for smoke to filter upstairs. And if they are radio linked, then it just means that they'll fire off straight away, and it gives people the best chance for coming out. Just having a look at a couple of questions there. Yeah, antique sofas. So I will double check this, but as I understand, if something is manufactured before 1950, they don't need to have the fire safety labels attached. But we will double check that and come back to you, Alan. And what kind of emergency lighting is required? I believe that it's emergency lighting on each floor with a battery backup. And again, we'll double check and come back to you as to whether that is actually a legal requirement or if that's a recommendation. And James, you asked who does the fire risk assessment. That's completed by the owner. And again, we can send a template to you if you need one. And it's just a case of running through the risks and how they're managed. It's not hugely onerous, but it's a really good way of just focusing on the fire risk within the property and just making sure that you're covering yourselves for these basics. If you're wondering what smoke alarms you need to fit and where, this chart is quite a useful way of showing what's best. So the orange ones are optical alarms, orange/red. I guess that's a matter of personal opinion, but they should be fitted in spaces such as hallways, landings, living rooms, and dining rooms. And they're best for detecting slow smouldering fires such as sofas and electrical fires. They also won't go off, with a false alarm from cooking fumes. So that's why we would recommend those for those kind of areas. The heat alarms should be fitted in the kitchen, which is the yellow area, and that obviously reacts to heat and is resistant to kitchen fumes and grease. So again, smoke detectors are usually too sensitive for use in the kitchen, so that's why we would suggest heat alarm. And then ionisation alarms to go in the green areas, which is basically the bedrooms, and that's best for detecting fast flaming fires such as clothing as opposed to costing. And it can give a false alarm if it's exposed to cooking fumes, but that's why we would recommend them in bedrooms particularly. And just having a look at this question from Alan, please send me a fire risk assessment. That's fine, we can arrange that, Alan. What regulations have to be observed for normal charcoal barbecues? It's a good question. I don't believe that smoke alarms are required because obviously they are kept and used outside. But again, we will double check and just make sure that's the case. But you know, there's been lots of media coverage in recent years about charcoal barbecues being brought into tents and into, for instance, conservatories, and then having carbon monoxide issues from that. So I'll just make sure that it's you know, clear in your welcome pack to make sure that they're left outside, in particular, you know, if they still have burning coals on them. Okay, so another hot topic is electrical safety. The Electricity at Work Regulations Act 1989 are very wide-ranging, but owners should be aware of one objective in particular, which is that all electrical systems in place must be maintained so far as is reasonably practical to avoid danger to all who use the premises, including guests. The main risks that we are trying to avoid include electric shocks, burns from contact with live parks, I'm guessing that's live sparks, and fire from faulty electrical equipment or installations. So really one of the key questions to ask yourselves is, are all electrical sockets and appliances in good repair and securely fitted? All electrical circuits, plugs and appliances throughout the building should be maintained in a safe and serviceable condition. The service information, together with details of any corrective action taken to rectify faults, should be recorded and retained for a minimum of 6 years. In the event of an accident involving the electrical systems on your premises, this record should enable you to demonstrate that you have complied with your duty of maintenance under the regulations. So another really good point just to make about this, which again you may have heard of before, is called a PAT test. So that's a portable appliance test. And that is an electrical safety test carried out again by a qualified electrician to make sure that any portable appliances, as in anything that has a plug on it, so that can range from bedside lamps through to kitchen appliances like dishwashers, microwaves, toasters, kettles. So anything with a plug is tested for electrical safety. And that can be done by a qualified electrician. And you may have seen in offices that the little green stickers that they put on the plugs to make sure that they work okay. You can also ask them to produce a certificate for you listing them in one place, which is a much easier way of keeping it on a record and means that you can avoid those green labels on all the plugs in your property as well. And that should be done annually. Oh, Catherine, yes, I think we'll just answer that question about PAT testing electrical appliances. Alan, you asked about candles. Yes, many guests do bring them. You don't supply them. I would include within your welcome folder that candles are not permitted in the property, which I know is dull, but realistically, because of the safety side, I would just keep it a candle-free zone, just in terms of the management. So if you don't provide them, then you know and you're mentioning to guests to please not use them or burn them, then that just kind of makes sure that we're minimising the risk from that side. Hi Fiona, you asked about the PAT test every 4 years. No, this is something that should be carried out annually. Yeah, and it's really important as part of the electrical safety. So if anyone does have issues, then that is really your way of saying that the appliances have been tested. Richard, you ask, is a PAT test by an electrician mandatory annually? I will double check. As I understand, it is not a legal requirement, but it is basically your way of protecting yourself if there are any incidents with electrical appliances. Apart from the call out for the electrician, it costs a few pence or £1 or £2 per item, so it's really not a big expense. and for the protection it gives you, it is worth doing without question. But we will double check and see whether that is a mandatory or requirement. I have a feeling that we will probably want to see them just to make sure that that we're giving you a good service and guests a good service by making sure that that side is covered. Okay, so moving on to swimming pools, they're a fantastic asset to have. And if your property has them, I'm sure that you see during the summer that they're extremely popular, and should absolutely be offered if you're able to. But it's important to make sure that they are safe and well managed for guests to be able to enjoy them. They offer vast scope for recreational activity and are a huge attraction. However, they can be dangerous places if the simple guidelines aren't followed. You can help to provide a safe environment for your guests by completing a suitable and sufficient swimming pool risk assessment to ensure guests are not exposed to risks to their health and safety. Things that should be considered when doing the risk assessment include ensuring clear display poolside notices stating this pool is not supervised or children are to be supervised at all times. Depth markings should be present, and if for any reason you're not able to paint depth markings around the pool, then at the very minimum, if you draw a diagram of the swimming pool and include it in your welcome pack with depth markings indicating the depths at the different ends and to the sides, then that is kind of the alternative. But best option will be to make sure that they are around the edge of the pool itself, or on signs around the pool. And also pool disinfection and chemical dosing records should be retained, and regular visual checks should be made, and any cracked, broken or missing tiles should be replaced or repaired, again just to make sure that we're avoiding any chances for trips and falls. And hot tubs as well. So hot tubs are in fantastic demand. They're one of our key search for terms and variables within the website, and they are a proven and great way to increase bookings as well. So you may have one already. I know that's something lots of owners consider. Many really don't want to include, which I understand, and some are looking at them too. However, they do require careful management and maintenance, so it's really important to be aware of the health and safety legislation and of the risks involved with them, and to make sure that you choose the right one too. The choice is vital, and it's important that you get guidance before buying a hot tub. There are many choices of hot tub manufacturer and many choices of models available. And some of these are not suitable for use in a business setting, as in a holiday let. So this includes inflatable hot tubs and soft tubs. At the moment, currently, none of these are suitable for a holiday let. And the key legislation to draw your attention to in terms of the management of hot tubs is the HSG. I can't remember what it stands for, but it's HSG 282. And again, if you need some, we can send you further information on this. BISTA as well, which is the British and Irish, I think, Swimming Pools and Hot Tubs Association, have got some really fantastic guidance and advice about hot tubs. And again, if you need that, we can send you links to that as well. If you are looking to also to buy a hot tub, when you go into the hot tub shop, I guess you would call it, tell them that you are using it in a business setting as a holiday let, because they will be able to give you guidance there as well. And if you are at all uncertain, then please do come back to us, and again, we can help clarify or confirm things with you that what you're getting will be right. I think the other, sorry, let's just move on so we can answer it here. When a hot tub is installed in a holiday let, there are specific responsibilities you have for health protection. And again, it must comply with Health and Safety Guidance HSG 282, and it requires all hot tubs to have a form of continuous disinfection. Therefore, the hot tub design should include some form of inline chemical feeder, which keeps a constant supply of sanitizer to the hot tub water. The following information must be available to guests as well, which include written instructions on the operation of the hot tub, written safety advice and signage on the hazards associated with hot tub use. And again, if you'd like a template for this, then please let us know and we'll send one to you. Hot tubs do also, and the same legislation do also apply to saunas and wood-fired hot tubs. However, to be honest with you, wood-fired hot tubs, it is essential to empty the tub as a minimum daily. And if you do have a wood-fired or wooden hot tub, or you're looking to buy one, then again, I would give us a call and have a chat first, and we can give you a little bit more information in depth about those. Let's just have a look. Oh, hi there, Sophie. If the hot tub is rented via Mulberry Cottages, do we have a responsibility for this? No, I don't believe so. I think that will fall under the provider. Again, we can double check that and confirm, but I believe that if you are not providing the hot tub and that is arranged through our Mulberry Experiences as effectively a concierge service, then the risk falls under the provider themselves. But we will check that. One of the key things about hot tubs too, in terms of the maintenance, is testing them twice a day for their pH levels and to make sure that their chlorine and bromine levels are monitored and managed and at a safe level. So I'm not exactly sure at this point whether how that would fall with a portable hot tub that's been hired by the guest directly with us, if they're there over a weekend, for instance. So it's a good question, and we'll check and we'll come back to you on that. Okay, so we're almost finished, but I mean, what I'm covering today is really just an overview. And the fact sheet that you can see on your screen now is new for us and is really useful document, because it provides a bit more information on all of the sections, not just those that I've covered today. And it's, you know, we've obviously gone through the top 5, but it's really useful to make you aware of a number of things that can be done to avoid harm. So you will receive your safety fact sheet as well as your annual property safety checklist discussed earlier within the next few weeks. In addition to the further detail on the sections that we have just discussed, the safety fact sheet will give you details, advice and guidance on a number of areas, which include furniture and furnishings, gas cookers, gas cylinders, private water supplies, glass partitions, child safety and playground equipment, cots, high chairs and bunk beds, stairways, balconies, open fires, log burning stoves, saunas, activities and other general safety. So as you can see, it's fairly comprehensive, and I would really strongly suggest that when that comes through, that you sit down and have a good read through and take a look at what applies to you. Again, if you do have any questions whatsoever, then do please pick up the phone and discuss that, and we can help you further. We also have template health and safety documents, which we're very happy to provide to you if you would like them. These include a template fire risk assessment, which I touched on earlier, a hot tub and swimming pool log sheet to record the test results taken, which again is really important to make sure that you keep a written record of those. Yeah, you know, general kind of information and risk assessments. We are also able to provide documents for you to include in your welcome pack, including in case of fire document, hot tub safety advice for those of you with hot tubs, a no diving sign for those who have a swimming pool, and we have a supply of window stickers on their way to us as well, which you can put on patio doors and any tall windows or low windows, which help to prevent people walking into them. And anyone who has watched You Being Framed in the last few years see that that happens scarily regularly. So these kind of documents that we have are really good. They're really strong, thin sort of plastic or thick laminated card. They have our mulberry tree logo in white, so they make them obvious to see and to notice, you know, and obviously link in with us as well. So they're comprehensive, they're really good quality, and you may find it easier just to, you know, give us a call, and we're very happy to provide you with those. So that is pretty much it for now. If you do have any other questions, I'll take a look at the ones down the line. But if you do have any other questions or queries about today's webinar, then please do give us an email on owners@mulberrycottages.com or call us on 01227 464 958. And one of the members of the owner services team will be very happy to help you or check that information and come back to you. So just having a quick look at questions. I think that is everything that's been answered for now. I don't know if you have any other questions whilst we're here. So just having a look, I've just seen Melanie Flint, you've asked, do these get sent out automatically? Sorry, Melanie, I don't know what you're asking for us to send out automatically. I don't know if you're asking about the safety fact sheet and the property safety checklist, then we will be sending these out automatically to all our owners within the next few weeks. And you also asked, please send a fire risk assessment template to us. Oh, Fiona, please can the fire risk assessment be sent with the new booklets? I'll ask, but I'm not sure if they're getting sent out automatically, the fire risk assessment, Fiona, but that's very easy for us to send to owners if they're needed. I mean, it may be the case that quite a lot of you will have fire risk assessments completed and in your pack already. But if you do need a template, then please, again, just email owners@mulberrycottages.com and we'll be able to send those straight out to you. Emailed and you can download. Yeah, so we can certainly email them, and that's probably easiest to be honest, because it means that you can type into them yourself as well as a Word document. Melanie, you say the safety fact sheet and checklist. Yeah, that's absolutely fine, Melanie. Yeah, we'll get those sent out to you, no problem at all. And Fiona will ask the owners team to send the fire risk assessment to you as well. Well, thanks everyone for listening. I know there's a lot of information to cover there, so we will be sending out the webinar to you afterwards once we've just made sure it's trimmed down, taken away all my ums and ahs and my general waffling, and then once that's done, that'll come over to you so you can listen again. And again, anything else that you need, please just give us a call. Oh, Sherry, last question. If your guests put plastic bags over your smoke detectors as they're smoking in the holiday let and set them off, how would an owner stand if there was a consequent hazard? Well, if a guest does that, I don't have a categorical answer, but I really can't see that you're able to manage that, and that is their risk. The only thing that I would say is when you do the clean afterwards, or if a housekeeper does it, to discuss with them and arrange it to make sure that the fire alarms are perhaps tested. I'll certainly have a visual check just to make sure they are free of dust and plastic bags, which I really hope that guests don't do, but I understand that lots of them do have their own choice of what they do in properties. So it may be worth just making sure that you at least do a visual check on those after every stay. Okay, thanks again, everybody. I hope that was useful, and do let us know if you have any questions, and we'll be in touch with more info soon.